Welcome to the Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. Today is September 14th, 2013. I'm Holly Seiler, leading our news tonight. A man who faced first-degree murder charges in Fairbanks has now been arrested for drug charges. 29-year-old David Falmer was arrested in Big Lake after being found in possession of methamphetamines. Falmer was charged with first-degree murder in the shooting death of 20-year-old Brian Richardson outside Ivory Jacks in 2010. He pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of assault 3 and was sentenced to 2 years in prison and was recently released. The shooter in the case, 28-year-old Sean Jeffers, pleaded guilty to a second-degree murder charge and is currently serving a 60-year prison term. Alaska State Troopers have located a 15-year-old runaway teen from Fort Yukon. Shireen Buster hadn't been heard from in nearly a month, and Alaska State Troopers reached out to the public for help in locating her. According to troopers, they were contacted earlier this morning by Fairbanks Police Department, stating she was in their lobby. She is in good condition. 29-year-old Daniel Nye was arraigned this week in Fairbanks Superior Court for choking his girlfriend earlier this month. Nye faces 2 counts of felony assault along with a DUI after he choked his girlfriend multiple times. The woman had a bloody right ear, marks on her neck, a bump on her forehead, and ruptured blood vessels behind her ears, troopers said. Nye called the troopers saying his girlfriend, quote, went ballistic and tried to jump out of his truck. He reportedly drove for 30 minutes before calling troopers and had a blood alcohol content of 0.146. Trial in his case is scheduled to begin in mid-November. A 24-year-old Tanunuk man was arrested on first-degree murder charges in the death of his son. Edward Moses was arrested in the death of 2-year-old Kyle Moses after barricading himself in his home. The school in the western Alaskan village was closed on Friday as a precaution. However, the school superintendent says there was no immediate threat to the students or staff and that members of the community should not be concerned for their own safety. About a third of the employees at Fairbanks' primary health organization will lose their jobs next week because of budget cuts. The staffing cuts are being made at a time when the Fairbanks Community Health Center is overhauling its operations as it heads towards bankruptcy. It'll emerge from a short closure next week with a different name, Fairbanks Community Mental Health Services, a new oversight from the nonprofit organization that provides mental health care in Anchorage. Interim Executive Director Jake Poole says the scope of the cuts was a surprise, but as auditors inspected the financial problems at the center, it became clear that aggressive action was necessary. Last week, officials from Verizon Wireless were at UAF to support a small project. This was more than just a PR campaign. News Center 11's Tyson Paris-Hansen has more.
There's a nip in the air again, which means winter is coming. But it also means more data from the houses at UAF's Sustainable Village.
It's been a great program with a lot of interest, a lot of success stories, so we're real interested in seeing what the future might be like.
These houses have already produced substantial information for the university, but very few people see it, which is why UAF wants to create an app that shares the data. And they're getting some help from Verizon Wireless. The vice president for the Alaska branch says this is the perfect program to support as they move into the Fairbanks market.
We're providing a $40,000 grant for an app challenge being hosted by the university for students and faculty to develop an application whereby the results and the information uncovered by the Sustainable Village will be able to be made public.
The app could be anything, maybe even show energy consumption in real time. An engineering student who helped build the village and lived there for a year says it's just important to get the data out there.
What I had there was basically an Excel spreadsheet of all the information going back to March of last year. Well, none of the students really accessed that, and it's available for anybody who can log on to an FTP website. So you can download all that data, but it's just not available in a user-friendly way, so that doesn't really get to very many people.
Whoever wins the contest starting in October will have huge resources to develop their app. Hopefully we can understand the impact of this research more when the app is released mid-spring. Tyson Paris-Hansen, News Center 11.
When we come back, Governor Sean Parnell announces appointments to the AGDC Board of Directors, and Sarah Palin is back in the headlines, but this time because of copyright infringement. We'll have those stories and much more when the weekend's only local televised newscast returns. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Governor Sean Parnell on Friday announced his appointment of 7 people to the Alaska Gasline Development Corporation Board of Directors. The appointees include former Attorney General John Burns of Fairbanks, Albert Balea of Big Lake, David Cruz of Palmer, Drew Pierce of Anchorage, Richard Rabineau, Commerce Commissioner Susan Bell, and Labor Commissioner Diane Bloomer. Parnell stated in a news release that he believes, quote, "The people appointed today bring deep and diverse expertise to the AGDC board. I am confident that AGDC will meet the goal of getting Alaska's gas to Alaskans and markets beyond." A New Jersey-based newspaper publisher is suing Sarah Palin and her Political Action Committee for copyright infringement over the use of an iconic September 11th photograph. A lawsuit filed Friday in Manhattan federal court by North Jersey Media Group Incorporated says Palin's Sarah Pack posted a copy of a photo on its website and Facebook page without their permission. The photo depicts 3 New York City firefighters hoisting an American flag among the rubble at the World Trade Center after the attacks. Arlington, Virginia-based Sarah Pack did not respond to a message for comment. The lawsuit asks the court to stop Sarah Pack from using the picture. It also seeks damages. MJMG publishes the Record and Herald News newspapers, plus 40 weekly community newspapers, 12 magazines, and 2 websites. The third in a series of books against drunk driving has been released. News Center 11's Monty Bowen has that story.
It was 30 years ago that Nancy Bidwell's daughter was killed in Anchorage by a drunk driver. In 2005, she and her husband Royal started the Forget Me Not mission.
Our goal is to reduce, we'd like to stop, but we're trying to reduce underage drinking, impaired driving, and distracted driving all over Alaska.
To Nancy, it's therapeutic to help others affected by drunk drivers.
We just wanted to try to do something to help other people get through it, because it was, as you can imagine, pretty horrific, I should say, event, and hard to deal with. And
they've done much more than just put books together on the subject.
Try to help other people. We go to the court with them. We've even paid for families to come up here and attend court when there's a court case. We visited patients in the hospital. We do everything we can to try to help people, and then of course our books are a big help to people.
They've gotten a lot of help with their project.
Teens all over Alaska have put this thing together and have helped with design and layout and contributed their stories and their comments about their personal experiences with underage drinking and impaired driving.
Sometimes things will happen that make her wonder if it's worth it, like the 2 girls who were walking in Anchorage recently who were hit and killed by a drunk driver.
Some senseless crash that didn't need to happen, and it gets so discouraging. But I try to remember, people call and they say, well, try to think of the good you're doing, and you know you're saving lives. And I know we are, but it's still so sad to hear of another crash and another family that has that policeman come walking up to the door and telling them the bad news.
And even though it may get discouraging sometimes, they won't be quitting anytime soon. Monty Bowen, News Center 11.
Preparing for a training mission is no easy task, especially when it involves hauling helicopters. Soldiers from Delta Company's 1st Battalion, 52nd Aviation Regiment at Fort Wainwright were doing that this past week as they got ready to go to the National Training Center. The CH-47s were broken down to be hauled to California on Air Force C-17 aircraft. 4 of the helicopters were disassembled for transport from Fort Wainwright to Fort Irvin. The 49th Missile Defense Battalion has a new commander. Lieutenant Colonel Michael S. Hatfield assumed command of the battalion earlier this week in a ceremony at Fort Greeley, where he had served 7 years earlier. The battalion protects the country from intercontinental ballistic missile attacks. The Alaska National Guard says in an announcement that Hatfield enlisted in 1992 as a combat medic. He was commissioned in 1996 as a second lieutenant in the Ohio University ROTC program. He later completed training in air defense artillery and missile defense. Hatfield in 2006 was picked to be the director of the Fire Direction Center at Fort Greeley. He served as a brigade missile defense director in Colorado Springs, Colorado from 2010 to 2013. And we have Fred Brown here this week, who I have it on good authority has been called North Pole Santa Claus's favorite sportscaster.
I have a Santa Claus endorsement.
Santa Claus endorsement. How much did you have to pay for that?
Nothing, but I do have sports to talk about, so let's talk about that, Holly. We got football, more football coming up. Also, one of our favorite sports is back. Come back, sports is next. Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Fred Brown here, monitoring this Saturday's sports duties. On the docket, we're talking football and a little more football. But first, we start on the frozen pond. Hockey. It's back. The Fairbanks Ice Dogs look to start their season strong, and they came out of the gate with a bang. The Fairbanks boys hit the road and invaded the home of their NAHL rival, the Kenai River Brown Bears, down in Soldotna. The Dogs shared the wealth in their 5-1 win, notching 5 scores from 5 different players. Netminder Kevin Aldridge turned away 22 would-be goals in the win as well. The game was tight for one period of play as the Dogs went into the break with a 1-goal lead. But starting round 2, the Dogs dumped on the offense to ruin the Brown Bears' night. Crosstown rivals' undefeated squad and homecoming sounds like the start of a slug-it-out grudge match, and that was the storyline last night as the Eielson Ravens played host to the Monroe Rams. My weekday doppelganger Joe Cook was there and has more.
Ravens and Monroe Rams came in undefeated in the Greatland Conference, and these two teams put on the show tonight. In the first quarter, 2 Monroe turnovers turned into Eielson points, and Eielson had a 34-13 lead at halftime. There were so many plays. We had to fast forward to the fourth quarter. Eielson's Tony Griffith tight roping up the sideline as he breaks to the outside for a 35-yard touchdown, diving for the pylon. Griffith had almost 300 yards rushing tonight and 5 touchdowns. It's 40-20 Eielson with 7:48 left in the game. But just 15 seconds later, after a good kick return by Alex Callahan, Tyler Wells connects with Scooter Bynum. That would be a deadly connection. 40-26 is the score, just 7:33 on the game clock. On the ensuing possession, Griffith answers. He squeaks through the middle for a 51-yard score right up the middle. 47-26 Eielson now with 5:35 to go in the game. But despite the score, the Rams did not go away. Tyler Wells finds Brendan Maines from 22 yards out to make it 47-32. Tyler Wells had 329 yards passing through the air and 6 touchdown passes. If Tony Griffith was Adrian Peterson, then Tyler Wells was RG3, and this guy, Scooter Bynum, was Megatron. Late in the fourth quarter, Wells goes to Bynum again. This is Bynum's 5th touchdown catch. He had over 200 yards receiving as well. And you know what? They get the 2-point conversion as well. He gets both feet in bounds. Just 1 minute and 7 seconds to play. It's 47-40. Eielson's lead down to just 1 score. The Rams go for the onside kick. And guess what? They get it. Who else? Scooter Bynum recovers the onside kick after much discussion from the refs. The ball goes to Monroe. But the Rams defense holds on. Kenyon Kincaid and Austin Edson combined for 7 sacks, and none bigger than on Monroe's last possession of the game, pushing Monroe way back as Tyler Wells just scrambling for dear life, but to no avail. Griffith would tack on another TD, and the Ravens hold on to win homecoming. 54-40, the best Greatland game of the year, arguably maybe the best in the interior so far this season. Both teams showed tons of heart.
Sunday night means rivalry action as Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks have a showdown with their Western Division foes, the San Francisco 49ers. Here's Dan Patrick, Tony Dungy, and Rodney Harrison to give us a preview.
Football Night in America, Dan Patrick, Tony Dungy, and Rodney Harrison. Coming up on Sunday night, it'll be Seattle and San Francisco. Let me start with the Seahawks. They win on the road, something they weren't very good at doing early last year. What do you see differently with this team as opposed to last year?
Well, I really see a confidence level and confidence in Russell Wilson. They've had that good defense, but now they believe, hey, tight games, fourth quarter, he can make the plays that can win them for
They definitely believe in him, but my biggest concern is that offensive line, which is supposed to be a strength of that team, really didn't look too good against Carolina. Carolina was able to put a lot of pressure on Russell Wilson, keep him inside the pocket in the first half. The second half, he played a lot better and started making plays, but, you know, in the past, that team would have kind of fell apart, Coach, but now you see the confidence that you're talking about.
Well, you have a game. How tough is it for San Francisco? Big game against Green Bay, then to get back up now for the division rival, which is an even bigger game.
They won't take any, trust me, Dan, a division rival like that, these two teams hate each other. They respect each other as far as how hard these teams play, but when it comes to a divisional game, you don't need Dan Patrick to get you pumped up.
Oh, and they're going up to Seattle. They know how tough that is, a place to play with all the noise and everything. They're going to have to be on their game. But I like where they are. They threw the ball so well last week. Anquan Bolden is going to give these guys a big lift.
And we saw something different from Kaepernick. I guess Jim Harbaugh is saying, all right, if you're going to take away one thing, I mean, be careful. You got to pick your poison with Kaepernick here.
They beat Green Bay by throwing the ball from the pocket. He was hot. He used all his weapons. Vernon Davis and Bolden were fantastic.
And I think that was the most impressive thing to me was Colin Kaepernick. It wasn't like they were solely relying on the read option. He dropped back and he said, hey, I'm a legitimate quarterback in this league and you have to respect it.
Yeah, he's matching Aaron Rodgers throw for throw. So Sunday night, it'll be the Seahawks hosting the San Francisco 49ers right here on NBC. We'll see you on Football Night in America at 7 p.m. Eastern.
That's it for me this weekend, but stick with us at KHVF. The wonderful Nikki Carvajal hits the weather wall in exactly 2 minutes.
And welcome back to the Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. I'm Nikki Carvajal here with your weather, and we're going to get right into it, starting with our almanac. The normal high for today is 56 degrees, and the normal low is 36. The record high of 73 was set in 1938, and the record low of 21 was set in 1987. Sunrise today was at 7:12 a.m., and the sun set at 8:21 p.m. That gives us 13 hours and 9 minutes of daylight, which is a loss of 7 minutes from yesterday. Taking a look around the state today, up north, Barrow seeing cloudy skies with temperatures of 37 degrees. Moving down to Nome, temperatures of 45 with clouds. Those clouds extending all the way down to southeast Alaska. Cold Bay seeing temperatures of 53 degrees, mid-50s in Bethel and Kodiak. Anchorage seeing temperatures of 62 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Clouds in Juneau at 62 and sunny skies in Ketchikan at 66. Here in the interior, Fairbanks and Fort Yukon seeing a really nice day, temperatures in the low 50s with sunny skies. Now taking a look at the lower 48. Seattle saw temperatures of 67 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Clouds in Billings as well with temperatures in the mid-60s. San Francisco seeing those temperatures in the mid-60s as well, and a little bit warmer in Salt Lake at 73 degrees. Further south, Las Vegas and Phoenix both seeing temperatures of 90s to the triple digits, and 90s in Dallas and New Orleans, all the way down to Miami with temperatures of 91 degrees. A little bit of sunshine in Miami, elsewhere pretty cloudy. And then along the East Coast, New York seeing temperatures in the mid-60s, 72 in D.C., and across the Great Lakes area seeing temperatures in the 70s with some showers in Minneapolis. Moving back to Alaska, our forecast for tomorrow looks like this. We're going to see cloudy skies in Barrow with temperatures in the low 30s, 50s in Nome with clouds as well there, and sunny skies in Fort Yukon with a high of 52 degrees. Now moving further south here in the interior, we're going to see temperatures in the mid-50s with sunny skies, a little bit cloudier and cooler in Healy with temperatures in the mid-40s. Elsewhere around the state, southeast is going to see temperatures in the mid to upper 60s in Ketchikan and Juneau. Sunny skies in Ketchikan once again. Few clouds in Juneau. And then moving over to southwest Alaska, mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid-50s for Cold Bay with some showers, and showers in Kodiak as well, but a bit warmer at 59 degrees. Taking a look at south central, Anchorage is going to see temperatures of 61 degrees, clouds in Valdez at 46, and right in the middle in Homer with some showers and temperatures of 57 degrees. Now back home here in Fairbanks, we are going to see clear skies tonight, temperatures dipping down below freezing at 30 degrees. Clear skies and light winds. Those conditions are going to continue into tomorrow. Pretty nice day, sunny skies, temperatures in the mid-50s. And then taking a look at the extended outlook on Monday, we're going to see mostly cloudy skies, 52 degrees. Lows a little bit warmer on Monday night at 34. Tuesday, the clouds are going to start to roll in, and we're going to see temperatures in the 40s, dipping down to the mid-20s on Wednesday night, and then 39 on Thursday, but warming up just a bit on Friday with temperatures of 41 degrees.
I can't believe we're getting into freezing temperatures
I know,
now.
I know. I'm not okay with it.
I blame you.
It's my fault. Fred knew what was up. It was my fault. Very sorry.
Well, that is going to wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We'll let them fight out off camera. We're really glad you could join us.
Join us here 6 days a week, at 6 at 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.